Whoa, well hey everybody, I think you're gonna love what's in store for today's video. I'm heading up a mountain to an old colonial farm. And there's a massive square pasture up there I've always been curious about. So we're going up there today to see exactly how big it is. Stay tuned. Well, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is going to be really fascinating. It all starts with an idea. This area that I'm in right now, I've been all around here. I know where the old home sites were. I've followed a lot of the walls, but in particular, this wall, this square out here, it's always intrigued me because it's so big you can see it from space. This area is one of those spots that if you find the right Google Earth image, taken a long time ago during the fall, you can actually see rock walls. This square, this old pasture, is one of the biggest ones around. I mean, it's really big. And I've grazed several sides of it. Up here, this is a colonial farm. It goes back to the early 1700s. The road out there has been documented to be traveled in the late 1600s. So the area is extremely old. But another point about this is it goes down. It goes down to the other side of this mountain. I just walked up from the other side. It's 1 mile. So I had to come up a mile to get on top, and I'm pretty much on the flat plateau. But this pasture being probably an early grant, where they were given a particular chunk of land, the wall is built to fit that square. It doesn't follow the contour of the land like a lot of the walls on farm sites from the 1800s do. So I know that this is going to be one heck of a hike to follow the entire thing. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use my watch with GPS to track exactly how far it is all the way around, how long it takes. But before we go, out of curiosity, I'm going to take an approximation, a rough guess, as to how many rocks are in a 10-foot section. And then when we're done, we'll multiply that to get a rough figure of how many rocks are in the walls of this one pasture. So, I'm a pretty good guess at these things. Roughly 26 rocks. We'll call it 25 feet because I'm sure there's going to be sections with more or less. All right, here we go. This is going to be something. If for some crazy chance we come across something that I need to stop, I'm not going to. We're just going to have to come back on another Not Thursday. All right, so this corner is our start and finish point. And we go. I'm choosing to go slightly upward on the start because I know when we get out to the corner over there, it goes down the other side of the mountain and it's pretty texturous. Not to say, obviously I'm not sure what's going to be on that side, but I'd rather go where I've been first. I'm going to try to stick as close to the wall as I can. There's going to be sections obviously that are, well, I'm going to have to go off course a bit, but we'll do our best. So, as you can see, I've got to go way down in there before it corners off and goes back, right? And that's what always amazes us about these squares. You can't see the other sides of it. There's no possible way. But yet, from above, it's pretty square. This one is offset a bit. I think the northern side is a little bit higher on the west side, but all in all, the walls stay true. Wow. Nice wall building conditions, huh? Wow, it's actually quite pleasant over here. I had to actually go up around that big chunk over there. It was so bad, and then boom, come right out here and it's decent. That looks inviting. I don't want to veer too far from the wall, but that's a nice flat plateau. It's a nice little area. That's definitely cabin site worthy. Actually, this is very interesting out here. All right, I'm almost at the corner. Corner number 1, and only stopping for a moment. Wow, 0.37 miles. I was guessing in my head, quarter mile. Yeah, well, already we're getting a guess at how big this thing is. Holy crap. All right. Jeez. I've dropped down quite a bit in elevation. This is awesome, actually. Getting to see sections up here that I've never seen before. This is what helps us do what we do pretty good. Wow, and I'll tell you, doing this really puts it into perspective. I cannot believe the size of this square. Like I said, I've been wondering about it. I mean, that is just amazing to think of those walls connecting on all 4 corners, nice and straight. Never been able to see them. And no, this one does not follow the sun. It does not sit true north to south, east to west. It's actually cocked at an angle. Oh yeah, I have been over here. I may have shown you guys this long time ago. Those are the nasty beyond belief anthills. You don't want to come through here in the summer in the tall grass and travel through those. Yeah. Alright, this slight section we may run into some man-made interference. Hopefully the wall hasn't been too broken. Shouldn't be too hard to find the corner. Oh, alright, good. This would have been the corner. That seemed longer, even for coming downhill. 0.73 miles. I'm at 22 minutes. Alright. I'm assuming it's going to be just as much up. That's what I just came down. Wow, that is just unbelievable. It's got more of a grade on this side. Wow. And nothing really stands out, you know, as to the lay of the land. It's just so many different variations. Some really rocky areas, some not too bad. Yeah, I'm really curious about getting to the bottom down here. It's starting to drop to that other corner. I've never been down there. I'm just coming to a cross wall, and I can tell you the old road that way is really far. So I've always wondered about the space in between here. Well, my watch just notified me we're already at the 1 mile point. This thing is going to be much larger than I thought. I'm seeing a wall over there. Maybe we'll get into the corner. Well, these people had one small flat area down in the corner. All right, corner number 3. 1.12 miles, 35 minutes. And yeah, this wall on this side crosses over and keeps going on. We'll save that one for another day. It's all right down here. I'm actually seeing some stacked rocks over there. And then on that side, not bad. So that's where we just came from. This side looks a lot more washed out. Well, that's the first significantly old tree that I've come upon. And yeah, even this side, I'm still going up. Well, I've been diligent. With the exception of the corners, I haven't stopped. And I know I gotta head up there. So we still got a ways to go. I can see the corner. I haven't said it once today, but I'm going to. Holy mackerel. Okay. Dropping the camera. .47 miles, 46 minutes. Wow, now to breathe for a minute. Well, I can take that off my list of things to do. I still don't get it. Okay, so it's 1690, 1700. You're granted a piece of land. The prime directive is to improve upon the land. You know, clear it, make roads, whatever. If you were given this piece of land, why would you build that much wall? Why would you not section it off to workable sections? I can't believe, again, how far those walls go, and it's impossible to see them in some sections beyond 100 feet. Amazing. And think about this. That's one square, one pasture out of one farm here in New England. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the information that has been saved, we're going to go back to the shack, we're going to crunch some numbers, and look at the facts. Because I still have a mile down. Alright, see you there. Alright, back at the shack. I just spent some time with the calculator. Here we go. These are the stats of the exploration we just did. Now keep in mind, when I stopped at each corner and gave you the distance total, that was not per wall, that was the accumulative. First section was 1,953.6 feet long. Side 2, 1,900.8 feet. Side 3, 2,059.2 feet. And side 4, 1,848 feet. That gives us a combined total of 7,761.6 feet, or the equivalent of 1.47 miles. Wow. And then taking the estimate of a 10-foot section wall at 25 rocks per 10 feet, that gives us a grand total of 19,404 rocks. Call it 20,000 rocks, because there were some sections that definitely had a lot more in it. Think about that. One square, 20,000 rocks. So the number that I had been wondering about with a square like that is, what is the acreage? Since we had an exact distance for all 4 sides, it was easy to calculate. And that square alone is 86.226 acres. That is a big chunk of land. So I did a little bit more number crunching and calculating, because it's always a debate online. You see people saying that there's no way all these people could have built all these walls in that amount of time. You know, back in the late 1700s, just after the Revolution up until the 1830s, that was the heyday of rock wall building in New England. The colonists primarily made wooden fences. It wasn't until after the Revolution and most of the land had already been cleared that people started removing those rocks and stacking them to make walls. There was a lot of pride going on with it back in those days too. But I also read that there was a lot of immigrant workers who went around, cheap labor. This is what they did. So here is what I came up with. I had spoken to a guy several years ago who wrote a book on stone walls. He's local to the area. And one fact he said was, back in those days, it took 2 abled men 8 hours to lay 16 feet of wall. Doesn't sound like much, but the biggest chunk of the work is actually getting the stone out of the ground and to the wall. So take this all with a grain of salt. So let's break it down this way. At a 16-foot section, divided by the accumulative length of the wall, that's 485 16-foot sections, or 485 days, which comes to the hour figure of 3,880.8 hours to build that square, which breaks down to 97.2 40-hour work weeks. If you were to do that every single day, 40 hours a week, 2 men could build that entire square in 1.86 years. So I broke it down. Well, what if they could only work 6 months a year? It would take 3.72 years. That actually is not that bad when you figure the amount of space that they squared in. But also think about if you added 2 more men to that workload, it would break it in half. Never mind if you hired a crew of 10 guys to build a square like that. So it's not that far out of reach when you look at something like that to think it was impossible to do. You just did it. You just got it done. Nowadays we look at that and say, there's no way I could do that in an entire lifetime, but in reality, it is possible. So hope you all enjoyed that. Take that information with a grain of salt when it comes to building walls like that. The hard facts are the distances that we got from GPS, and there's no arguing that. If you live in New England or you live anywhere else where there's walls like that, go out and follow them. Hike them. It's just an eye-opener, and it gives you a whole different appreciation for the history that happened on the lands that you're walking on. All right, everybody, we will see you soon. So until next time, enjoy your Not Thursday.